Hello, friends. I'm Nick,
I'm Danielle.
and this is Fostering in Faith, um, our vlog series where we talk about fostering and the different aspects that we do in our home. So today we're going to be talking about kids that come into our home and treating them like they are truly our own children. Um, so philosophically, just speaking, Danielle and I, we believe that any child that comes into your home for an extended period of time, you should treat as if they were your own. So even if you have your own biological kids, or if you have kids that you've adopted, or if your goal is to adopt through foster care or adopt through another venue or avenue, you should still treat the foster kids that are in your home as if they were your own. They shouldn't be treated differently. That's just we've felt that has been kind of one of the cornerstones of building a bond with the kids and really getting them to uh, bond with you, which is something is so crucial that you need to be a good foster parent.
Um, and as well as bonding, it gives the kids a look of what a real, I shouldn't say real, that was a really bad word to use, I mean, because they have a real family, but a it gives them a glimpse of what family life could look like, when they have all of their basic needs met. Um, I mean, doing things together and eating together as a family, and just doing all kinds of things like that. Maybe they have never experienced that before, and maybe they've had to fend for themselves. A lot of them have to fend for themselves. They come in here, and some of them can eat out of the trash because that's how they are able to find food. And so different families have different family dynamics, and being in our home, they get a chance to experience what our family dynamic is like. So maybe they can maybe ask when they go home. They can ask their parents, "Hey, can we do this together? Like, I really liked doing this when we were with my foster family. It was really fun." And sometimes it just takes maybe the kids a little bit of asking their parents to do something with them, which is kind of a sad reality. But um,
And then I kind of wanted to touch on one of the things that Danielle had said as well. Um, kind of in our home, treating the kids as if they were our own children. Um, we we give the kids the option of calling us foster mom, foster dad. One of our kids in the past decided they wanted to call us Mommy Danielle and Daddy Nick, or Mr. and Mrs. and then our last name. Is we give them those options in case they want to reserve the mommy and daddy for another. Um, so, and a lot of the times, if you have younger kids, which is our age group, they'll pick to call you foster mom or foster dad, just because they build that close relationship with you. Um, and a lot of the times too, like we involve all any kids that come into our home in holidays. Um, we will take them. We will ask permission. That's one thing that we do. You do have to make sure you do if you're going to go anywhere for an extended period of time. You got to ask permission. We'll take them to her family's house for a get together, or we'll take them to my family's house for a get together. And then they have kids their age that they can play with because I have nieces and nephews, as both of us have nieces and nephews. Um, so I mean that in itself, they while they're away from the bio family, gives them something to feel like they are part of something. Um, so that I think that's also very important.
um, part of treating them like they are your own kids is taking them on vacations. Doing things together as a family. There's a lot of foster parents who will do something pretty local, where they they may have to ask permission because the kids might have to miss one of their visits that week in order to do that vacation. But it's still pretty local, and you can take your kids on that vacation with you. And a lot of foster parents just prefer to take their own kids or their adopted kids, or if they don't have any other kids, if it's maybe just you know no other kids. Well, we want to go do something, so you guys can go to respite. And I'm not we're not bashing other foster parents at all. Maybe they're going someplace where they cannot take the kids to something local. Maybe it's there's a no kids is allowed rule, and sometimes that kind of stuff happens. But put yourself in that kid's shoes. If you're packing your bags and you're going camping, like we go camping all the time. We go to the beach. We do all kinds of stuff in the summertime, and in the fall, like in the school year, there's not as much time because the kids have homework and they have all their visits, and if they're school age, then they have to have all the visits after school, and it kind of takes up the evening time quite a bit for that. So, put yourself in their shoes just for a little bit with that. So say, we're packing our bags, getting ready to go. One of our friends asked us to go to the beach, and we're all excited, and we're packing our bags. We're getting swimming suits and towels, and we're bringing picnic food and all this kind of stuff. And then you just decide, well, you guys are going to go to respite, and they have to pack their bag, but it's for something not quite as fun and exciting, like, oh, now you're going to go and you're going to spend some time with these people that you don't have any idea who they are. It's like getting moved to a new foster home all over again. It's just not as long. They stay there for a very short. That's why it's called respite. They stay there for a very short period of time. Sometimes it's just a day. Sometimes it's a weekend. Sometimes it can be a week or so, depending on how long whatever it is that you can't take the kids to are going to. And then there's things that you just can't take them to. If you're gonna go to Oklahoma, or who goes to Oklahoma, but it's some place like that where you're going to quite a few different states away. There are things that you can't take them to because you need judges' permission, you need the bio parents' permission, you need all kinds of different types of permission in order to go. And sometimes it's just it takes so much to get that approved that it is just easier if you have to go that far away to just send your kids to respite. There's nothing wrong with sending your kids to respite, but if you're going to do something local, take them with you. With us going camping all the time, like, it's a big ordeal to get it. I don't know if you guys have ever gone camping, but it takes quite a bit of time you got to pack everybody's clothes, you got to make sure you have all the right kinds of food, you got to make sure you have everything you need, like sleeping bags and pillows. And I mean, by the time that you get going, your car is chocked full of crap basically to go camping. And some of the kids that we have never even gone camping before, so that was a really fun experience for them. And then they don't get to go. Imagine how that might feel for them. So, if you're going to do something with, as a family, just take them with you. That is probably the only time they ever get to experience something like that. So.
Yeah, and, it's another thing, too, that kind of has helped us make kids feel like that they're a part of our family. It's simple stuff, guys, like putting pictures of them in your house, making them feel like this is their home while they're away from home. This is their safe haven. That this is a place that they can take refuge in and feel that they're loved and they're taken care of, while they're away from their family. If anybody's ever, witnessed a detainment or children being taken from their parents, it is not pretty. The kids, they're basically ripped out of the home, and there's a lot of screaming and crying and all that kind of stuff going on. It's traumatizing. And then to go to these new people who have no idea who you are, So I mean, you as much as we say, also, like putting pictures of their home and stuff like that, don't be afraid to also give them their space. Don't like try and hop on the like, oh, I'm your foster mom and I'm your foster dad. Train too quick, like as in like a half hour after they get to your house.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. You're actually probably gonna push them further away if you do that. Get down on their level. Play with them. Engage them. Find out what things they're interested in. One of the kids that we had that came into our home was so, did not want to stay here at all. So Danielle and I sat in the bedroom with him, and we found out his favorite thing was SpongeBob. And we sang the SpongeBob song about 15 times over and over again.
More like 30.
I mean, he thought that was awesome. He was, seriously, it calmed him down. So, I mean, you have to remember going into this, too, that, like, the kids are not going to jump on the, you're my foster mom and you're my foster dad, and, like, this is a safe home and a safe refuge immediately. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic, given the circumstances that the kids have come from and what they're coming into. So, but those are things that you can do to help, certainly help, after you've built a little bit of relationship with them, so you've had them for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or so. Hey guys, guess what we're going to do? We're going to go out, we're going to get some pictures, and we're going to hang your guys' pictures up on the wall because you are always welcome here. We think you're awesome. They love that kind of stuff. They love to feel special. And, that's something that we I feel have learned, and and understand that when they come to, that they're going to say, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I want my mom. I want my dad. I want my grandma. Whoever it was that they came from, that's who they're going to want. And instead of saying things like, oh, well, you don't need them. It's fine. You're fine. You don't need them. I mean, would you want to hear that if you were taken away from your family? No, you'd probably want to hear something like, it's okay, and it's absolutely fine to miss mom or dad, and let's talk about them a little bit. What's their favorite color? What's your favorite color? And kind of transition them from off that topic like that. So that's just something about transitional stuff when they come into your home. But I just want you guys to understand too that like the relationship and like treating them like your own kids, by doing that at the start and getting on their level, you are treating them like they're your own. They are your own kids because you're investing in them. And that's something that you need to understand as well. Is it's not going to come right away, but there's a saying I've always loved, and a dear friend of mine told me it. They won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So.
And a lot of this that we're kind of talking about is, it's kind of common sense, especially if you're watching this and you're like, well, duh, I have 3 of my own kids. Like, clearly you hang pictures up of them, you find out what they're interested in, you take them places, duh, right? Or maybe you're watching this and you're a foster parent of 10-15 years, and you're like, I've been doing this for 10 or 15 years. Hello, common sense. Or maybe you're watching this video and you're deciding whether or not you even want to become a foster parent. Us, we've only been foster parents for just over a year. We're doing a lot of things by trial and error. A lot of this is by trial and error. We don't have any kids of our own. Maybe one day we will, but as of right now, fostering was our very first experience having any kids in our house and being responsible for another tiny little human being who hopefully one day is going to be a productive member of our society. At least that's what you hope for. That's what you kind of train them for that when they're in your home. Again, it's kind of like common sense stuff. So sorry if you're sitting there going, duh. But this is just very real things that we think we find very helpful on things that we've gone through. Another little thing that is also helpful is, if they draw you a picture, it does not look like a bear, but they tell you it's a bear, you hang it on that fridge and you tell them it is the cutest bear you've ever seen. We've got tons of those hanging on our fridge right now. Does not look like a bear, but we'll go with it. Finding lots of pictures just drawn on paper and finding them all over the ground. Well, okay, something that we found very helpful with that one. Let's get that child a little binder and stick them in there. And that way, if you want to pull one out and say, look what I've drawn, that's great. It's just all trial and error stuff. Again, this stuff is it is common sense things, but we just find it very helpful. This is why we're sharing.
And again, while Danielle said it's common sense stuff, and it's something like, oh yeah, of course I would do that. I mean, if you're a new foster parent, when we were new foster parents, I wish that there was a vlog like this that we could have followed, because I would have been on it day and night. Not knowing what to expect, you forget these things. You go through all this training and you're like, yeah, I'm ready. And then you get in it and you find out you're not ready at all. These are just our experiences too. Things that you forget, tricks of the trade. Things to make them feel like truly like this is their place of refuge. They can call this their safe haven. So that way when they're ready to return home, it becomes more of a sentimental, I really enjoyed, I love my mom and my dad, and I'm so excited about going home, but thank you for everything that you've done. And, coming out of the mouths of little people, that really does mean a lot. Or when you're pulling away, and as you're pulling away, they're screaming out the window, I love you. That, that it just, when you go to them, they were the last ones that we had, and they returned for the very last time to their home. As we were pulling away, we had our windows down a little bit, and they were yelling out the door, I love you. That really means a lot. And it comes in that moment where you're like, okay, maybe we've done our job. Maybe we've really impacted those kids, and and through all the stupid and through all the hard times and the behaviors that you encounter, and in the moment you're like, oh my gosh, come on, I just don't want this to be I just want it to be done. Can you just act correctly? Who knows if that if we've ever made a lasting impact, but it's those moments that you look for, and those are just little things that we've come to realize in the process.
Something else that we have found very helpful with planning to do certain things as a family, make sure that you have permission before you tell them that you're going to go and do something. I said it a little bit ago about how they might have to miss a visit in order to go camping for the weekend or something like that. Or here's a weird fact: you can't get the kid's haircut unless the mom or the dad tells you, yes, it's okay to get your kids a haircut. So rather than going and getting my haircut, and then I cut Nick's hair, so rather than just giving Nick a haircut, we wait until everyone can get their haircut together, and we don't tell them, hey, we're gonna go and get our haircuts until we know for sure, because there was one time where mom didn't want the haircut, and we had mentioned, oh, we're gonna go and get a haircut. We just have to, we have to make sure it's okay. But the kids don't understand that we don't get the final say a lot of the time, and it's okay that they don't understand that, but something that we learned by trial and error is just wait until you know for sure, it's going to happen, before you say something, because they get all excited Even for the little things, like getting a haircut. Who gets excited about a haircut? I do, because I hate when my hair gets too long, and he does, because he hates when his hair gets too long. But at that age, they don't really care. But if it's maybe their first haircut, it's kind of a big deal. And we didn't know it was their first haircut, and Mom didn't want the haircut because it wasn't, don't want to cut the hair. Fine. Just make sure you have permission before you say something for that.
And then I just want to talk about one last thing before, signing off and all that kind of stuff. You guys make sure that you communicate with your families about your approach to fostering, whatever it may be. If you don't agree with us at all and you think, well, yeah, they should be treated differently, they shouldn't be like our kids or whatever, that's fine. I'm not asking you to agree. Just make sure that you communicate that to your family. I know from past experience, that if you, I've seen it before, where if you don't communicate with your family, like, hey, we treat these kids like our own kids, like these kids have really bonded with us. They're actually only calling us mom and dad. They've dropped the whole, foster mom, foster dad. That's their own choice. We haven't forced them or anything. They're really bonded with us. We treat them like our own children. Make sure that your families are aware of that too, because sometimes that can get lost in translation, and families might think, well, they're not blood, so they're not family, or they're not, they don't carry the last name, so they're not family. And that's just really sad and unfortunate, especially for those kids who need a family and who need a sense of stability and a sense of longing. I belong here. Or where do I belong? I'm not with my family, so where do I belong, kind of thing. So just make sure that you communicate with your families, because that can get really hairy, and I would hate for that was something that I would have wanted to know as well as a young foster parent, or as beginning foster parent.
So this is gonna conclude our video today. It's our first one since our welcome video, and this one was actually pretty long. I don't know if all of our videos are gonna be this long. Sometimes we might just get on here to tell a story about what happened today, but today it was a long video. We had a lot to talk about. So if you liked our video, feel free to hit the like button, or if you haven't subscribed and this is your first time watching our channel, subscribe.
Press it.
We'll probably be on here putting a new video on probably at least once a week, maybe more if we have other things we need to talk about. But anyways, I want everyone to don't forget to pray,
have faith,
and
press on.